Hi, this is Rebecca Kokendorfer with Homeschool.com. Step number 4 is I want you to think outside the box when it comes to time management and organization. The ordinary way of organizing your day is if you follow the school schedule. The bell rings at 8 and you do math. The bell rings at 9 and you move to English. The bell rings at 10 and you do science. The bell rings at 11 and then you go out to recess. Now there's nothing wrong with this. I want you to organize yourself in as much as you need to feel comfortable. But please think outside the box. Try it a little bit differently, because remember, your goal is not school. If your goal were ordinary and the same as everybody else, you would have them in school. Your goal is extraordinary learning, extraordinary achievement. So another way of organizing your day, picture this. You're sitting with your children and you're sharing cups of hot chocolate and you're talking about their goals, and you're sharing with the children and asking them, hey honey, where do you learn best? Because learning doesn't just take place at a desk at a certain time, right? That's the ordinary way of doing it, the classic approach, the factory approach to education. But we all know that learning can take place anywhere. So you ask your children, where do you learn best? Is it outside on the lawn? Is it on your bed? Is it on the couch? Is it at the table? Because children are all different. They are not cookies. So you're going to put them in charge of their learning as much as possible, because people support what they're invested in and what they have a say in. The ordinary way of doing learning is that the teacher's in charge and the student just sits there and they just do what they're told. And if they do what they're told well enough, they get a good grade. But you're homeschooling. You have the freedom to do it differently. You can work on the things that they're interested in, and they can learn where they learn best and the time of day that works best for them. Another change I want you to do too is that in ordinary learning, it takes place always inside. It's in a classroom or it's in a home, but you are free. I want you to get out of the house. I want you to make learning come alive. Go to the museums. Wouldn't it be cool if your kids were telling all the other kids, oh, I'm so looking forward to our field trip schedule, that when you're sharing a hot chocolate, you talk with the kids, hey, where should we go? Getting to know our area. Are we going to go to San Francisco? Are we going to go to this museum? Are we going to go to this garden? You're learning with different mentors. The ordinary way of learning is that you have a whole group of students and one teacher. Now your children get to have one-on-one learning. We know that works the best. That's the reason we hire tutors, because one-on-one learning is so fast and so effective. So think outside the box. Allow yourself, don't be afraid. I know the temptation is to do what you're familiar with, because most of us were raised within the school system. We're raised with school starts at 8 and it ends at 3. And we're used to the system that we only devote an hour for each subject and then you change it. Now that might work well for some of your children. Some of your children may love variety. Let them set up the schedule that works best for them. Because remember, you have helped them set goals. You know what their #1 goal is, and you've also asked them, what do you want to learn for math? What do you want to learn for science? What do you want to learn for history? You know, what field trips do you want to go on? What type of science and art kits should we buy? You know, what should we look at the thrift store? How are we going to make learning come alive? Because you want them to use their hands as much as possible. Your goal is not passive learning. Your goal is active learning, creating memories. And it's so beautiful. I homeschooled all the way through. Your children are going to be so close. You will know them so well. You're going to have all these wonderful memories of meal times and of making volcanoes and of reading, science books, and you're making sharks that swim in the sink, of painting murals, creating bulletin boards, learning with mentors. I want you to get out involved in the community as well. It could be your neighborhood. Maybe they study woodworking with an older gentleman in the neighborhood. Maybe they study sewing or knitting or whatever their interests are. You have a tremendous opportunity here to think outside the classroom box. Okay, your world is bigger. Your goal is not the same as everybody else. Your goal is extraordinary. So I want you to think outside the box. I want you to schedule it in a way that's flexible and it works well for everyone. I want you to set goals and know what your goals are. I want you to look for the spark in your children and go deeply into those sparks. I want you to help them focus on their strengths, not just the weaknesses. Here's a great model for you. In the traditional learning, it is the teacher who is telling the student what to do. But I don't want you to become a home teacher. Really, what you really want to become is like the grandmother, the grandfather. You're just lovingly watching these children and you're, wow, I'm so amazed. How did you learn to do that? It's the grandparent modeling of homeschooling where you just notice the good. You praise what they're good at. You're so impressed that you let them teach you, because children don't have to be told how to learn. What statistics show and scientific studies are showing that some of the best ways of doing it is if you just stand back and you watch them and you praise them. Think grandparent instead of teacher. Think igniter, spark igniter. Think mentor. Think community. I want you to think outside the box this semester when it comes to your curriculum and your time management.